So in the summer of 2021, members of the Environmental Law Collaborative met in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we identified as the subject of the meeting the 4 Degree C article authored by Robin Kundis-Craig and J.B. Rule. And instead of coming together and presenting scholarship we had all been independently working on, the way the Environmental Law Collaborative works is that we identify an issue or a problem, and we bring environmental law scholars from around the United States together to talk about the problem for 2 days, and then we all go off and we write chapters for a book focused on addressing that problem. The legal challenges are too numerous to identify, but with respect to each significant climate impact, you can unpack a whole host of legal challenges that we'll face. So for example, high-level warming will likely lead to significant internal migration of humans and of species. Embedded within that internal migration are going to be issues like out-migration. Municipalities will be dealing with shrinking tax bases, having to think about possible annexation to other municipalities, and maybe even disincorporation of the municipality itself. On the flip side, we're likely to have some climate receiving locations that are going to be dealing with a rapid influx of migrants. Similarly, with respect to the migration of species, the types of legal challenges that this is going to pose is we're already starting to see it happen, that we have northward spread of diseases borne by different vectors like ticks. We have dengue now becoming endemic in significant parts of the United States. So we'll have to adjust our public health apparatus to respond to those kinds of concerns. We have to deal with the fact that we have a federal law that is designed to protect biodiversity and species that doesn't make sense in a changing climate. One difficulty is that one's experience with climate change will be dictated in part by what is your capacity to adapt. And for example, if you are living in a home that's threatened by repeat flooding or coastal flooding, but if it's your only home and you don't have the resources to relocate, then you face a very significant and different problem. In terms of the legal approaches to responding to this, I think something that is helpful that we've seen, for example, in the Inflation Reduction Act, is a real desire to, as we transition to a green economy, to try to make sure that we are directing economic development to communities that are disadvantaged to try to increase resilience and capacity to adapt. We are seeing things manifest around us every day that we have read about in reports were going to happen for the last 20 years, and yet it still feels surprising. So I think one hope for the book is to jar people out of complacency, to point out that peer-reviewed science suggests that we are headed for higher level warming that will have impacts beyond those that we have imagined or begun to discuss. I also hope that it underscores the extent to which we have engaged in mass hubris about our ability to predict what climate change will look like, how it will manifest, for whom, where. We've already been dealt significant surprises in Asheville, North Carolina, and elsewhere. I think it's incredibly important that we erase the blind spot in our adaptation, law, and planning in the United States and think and talk in a serious way about what preparing for high-level warming, as opposed to a very optimistic 2 degrees of warming, would actually look like.